Hello, Eastern Region. I'm Amanda Hanzlik, the president-elect of our region, and I'm delighted to be presenting our next series in conference conversations for our Providence conference in just a week's time. We are only a week away, and tonight I have with me LIANA Salinas from the Miami Children's Chorus, who will be conducting our middle school honor choir. We are so thrilled to have LIANA coming to spend time with us and our students in Providence and here tonight. So LIANA, welcome. Welcome to Conference Conversations, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm honored to be a part of the conference. Obviously I belong to the Southern region, but I've heard the absolute best things about the Eastern region. I've never been, so it's a first in many ways. And obviously I'm extremely excited to be conducting the middle school honor choir.
Absolutely. Well, yes, and welcome. Welcome from the Southern region to the Eastern region. We are so excited to have you. And because you are from another region, many of our members have not worked with you yet. Your paths may not have crossed, rather, professionally or in, collegiate circles, all of those things. So please tell us about you. Tell us who you are, your educational and work background, and just how you came to choral music.
Sure. So, I mean, if we wanted to start at the very beginning, I bet my story is very similar to a lot of music educators. I had great music teachers who saw the best in me and really provided me opportunities to rise to my potential. I happened to know very early on, like 7 years old, that I wanted to be a music teacher. And I pulled my little sisters into our playroom and said, "Welcome to my Hogwarts School of Music and Wizardry," and forced them to sing harmony with me.
I love it.
And then at around 12 years old, I tapped my music director on the shoulder and said, "Mr. Sharp, when are you going to retire?" He's like, "I don't know why." And I said, "Because I want your job." And here we are, and it's my 25th season with the Miami Children's Chorus. And usually when I say that, people are like, "How is that possible? Your face does not match."
25
Yeah,
years, right?
25 years. And it's because I was a member of the Miami Children's Chorus for 10 years as a chorister, and then I never left. I went to the University of Miami right across the street from where the chorus rehearsed. I studied music education with a jazz emphasis while I was there. And then I was an assistant conductor.
We're gonna wait because Ethan is now home. And we're gonna wait because I'm gonna have to pause this. Super fun. So let's think, what were you saying? You were saying something as an assistant conductor. That's where you're gonna
Yeah.
start.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna wait for just a second. Can we get him in and get the dogs settled? I'm sorry, LIANA.
Hey, girl, I do not care. This is fine.
Stop. Oh my God.
How dare you bark, dog?
How do you think it's going so far? I think it's going okay.
You're such a natural. You're like, seriously, you just make it like it's the perfect balance of personal and friendly and interesting. Like, just, sometimes these things are so bland and scripted and you flow so well. And at the same time, it's like professional and like concise and informative. Yeah, it's perfect.
Ethan, get inside. Are you okay? All right. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, we're gonna try this again. So you were saying, do you want to back up?
Can you hear those dings on
No.
my end? No? Okay, good.
No. You were saying,
let's see, that I studied music
I
education.
went to the Miami Frost. So,
yeah.
so start with Miami.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I studied music education with a jazz emphasis right across the street from the chorus, and therefore I never left. I just became an assistant director for the middle school choir. That's kind of where I started my teaching experience, and I really fell in love with middle schoolers. To me, they're the perfect age where they know enough that you can really do fun, advanced musical things with them, but they're still young enough that they're not jaded. They have that innocence and purity, and they're just in this magical little sweet spot. So That was my starting experience as a teacher. And then I, was with that organization as a conductor for 7 years and became artistic director about 5 years ago. So it's been a whole journey through the Miami Children's Chorus, kind of experiencing all of the different angles. And alongside that, I've done other musical things. Like I started a company called My Music Match, and we match students and teachers for private lessons, voice and all the instruments.
Mm-hmm.
We also match musicians with performance opportunities, so the right kinds of gigs that they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in Miami, New York, California, and expanding into the Eastern region very soon. Look out for the DC and North Virginia areas. So a wide variety of experiences in both the music education side and music business side.
Very, very cool. We have been anticipating, your appearances as well as all of the other conductors in Providence, and all of you come from such really diverse backgrounds and experiences, whether it's K through 12 or even into the college or professional and community scene. And all of your programming is wildly different, which of course we anticipated, but it's been really fun to get to hear from the other conductors kind of what they're most excited about, and what we can all look forward to hearing from you and from the students on Saturday during your concerts. And so I am curious, is there a little sneak peek that you could give us about your concert program, or about maybe the commissioned work, because all of our honor choirs have a commissioned piece, or just something that you in particular are really excited about the program?
Definitely. So our choir will be doing 6 pieces.
Yeah.
And my thinking throughout this entire programming experience was very much a story through line. So the original theme was something to the effect of, we all come here as individuals, but then we end up becoming united, through
Mhm.
this experience of singing together.
Yeah.
And so really all the songs tell that story. The first couple are about everyone kind of coming out of the woodworks as individuals, and there's kind of a phone conversation where you're trying to get in touch with someone, but they don't pick up the phone. Then they do pick up the phone, and then they're invited to go on a journey together. So that's the first kind of set
Okay.
within the set. And then where are we going? We're going to take a walk through the valley with Undine Smith Moore. And then we'll be featuring this new commission by Melissa Dunphy, which I'm super excited about.
Yay.
It's so textural and cool, and the text I think is really timeless and relatable, just very
Mhm.
universal about wanting to be heard. And that's the theme that carries over into our kind of last set within the set, which is all about, now we've come from all over the place, we've united, we're this kind of choir army that's gonna showcase that feeling through Fire by Katarina Gimmon.
Yes.
And then we'll end with kind of a choral anthem and make sure that everyone really did hear our message throughout the set.
Mm. Ooh, I'm excited. I have seen the score for the commissioned piece by Melissa Dunphy, and I am very excited for that. And of course, she will be there for that premiere, which we're really excited to be inviting so many composers to come in and be part of this process for the kids. So that's really, really exciting. I have been asking everyone in this series about their very first memory with ACDA, or kind of your first like connection point to the organization. I was talking to Dr. Barber today, and telling her how I was an undergrad with my very first connection to ACDA, and I was singing in a performing choir. And I remember hearing about this ACDA conference, and I was like, what is ACDA? Like, I don't even know what that means, And then I showed up to this conference and sang in front of thousands of choral directors, and I got to experience the conference, and I was like, oh, okay. Now I understand why this is so amazing and so important. And it kind of hits everybody differently. For all of the kids in your choir that you'll be with and, make this huge connection with next week, this will be their first memory of ACDA. If they go on into the profession, or even if they're connected to it throughout their lives as a singer or a supporter, this will be their first memory, most of them, of the organization. So I just say all of those little anecdotes, just ask you, like, what's your biggest connection point, or maybe your first one?
Well, it definitely wasn't what, these choristers are going to experience with us singing in
Sure.
the ensemble. I wish it was, and now I will impart that wisdom onto my own students and make sure that
Right.
they're doing the auditions. But for me, I'd heard about ACDA, through school, obviously studying music education and,
Sure.
at conferences but it wasn't until I was, fully in the field as an educator that I got to really feel the connection and what differentiates ACDA from some of the other, wonderful choral organizations that exist.
Sure.
And it was at the, hold on, this is a long name, ACDA Children's and Youth Choir Conductor Retreat, right? So
Mm,
CCYC. And
interesting. Okay.
it's really, if you're not familiar with it, it's a retreat that's geared specifically towards children and community youth choir directors. So it relatively small compared to, like a regional conference. I'd say like somewhere in the 120 to 200 people range, but
Okay.
it's so intimate and it's really nice to kind of skip that when you're networking and just, getting to know people, you
Sure.
skip the, oh, well, what do you do? Or what do you teach? It's like, we all teach kids. We're
Yeah.
all on the same wavelength here. And a lot of beautiful relationships and collaborations even have blossomed from that first retreat a few years ago, even
Hmm.
to the extent where I ended up helping plan the retreat in Arizona a couple of years ago, and continue to be actively involved in that committee, of ACDA. So I really see the value in, having this tight knit group of educators who are already, the more you kind of refine the group that you're talking to, it's like, okay, here are all of the choral directors. And now here, even more specifically within ACDA, you can find your mini tribe. It really goes a long way in, providing those human resources. Like when you have a question, you're like, hey, I'm programming this and it's specific to what you do. It's,
Right.
even though I've taught in schools, the same age levels of students, it is totally different to work with that same age in a community choir setting. And so
Yeah.
I definitely feel like I found that tribe through ACDA. And now have continued to expand my involvement and curiosities about the rest of the organization.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. I love that. I love that you really came to the organization like as a professional in a really meaningful way. And in a different kind of way, not through a region necessarily, but through one of those, but through a really specified, disciplined kind of group. I think that's a really wonderful thing. And thank God the organization creates and provides those kinds of, I wouldn't, I don't want to use necessarily the term affinity, but it is almost like an affinity group where it's like a very niche, discipline specific zone for children's choir and youth choir professionals. And I just love that you've made your connection there. That's really, really interesting and really cool, especially compared to the other honor choir directors. It gives a different kind of lens into just your experience and then how the organization itself has provided for all of you, throughout your careers and throughout your involvement. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's a robust organization that, has something for everybody, but
Yeah.
then it also has those smaller pods. So it's
Mhm.
nice to have both, the
Yeah.
intimate circle and also the really wide network.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been thinking about, for all of you, for all of the conductors, it's a really interesting schedule for all of you coming into a conference because the rest of us are conferencing, running around, going to sessions, all the things, and you all are creating this amazing bond and experience and process that's really compact and really intense with hundreds of children. So you're acting as their educator, but you're also acting as our educator because we all come in and observe these rehearsals and observe the kids, observe you, learn new repertoire, learn new pedagogical and conducting techniques. And it's really, really exciting. But from your perspective and your experience, it's very obviously clearly different than being an attendee. But I'm wondering, as you've kind of looked at the schedule and of all of the experiences and other concerts and things, other than your process with the kids, is there something in particular that you are looking forward to or that you're excited about experiencing at the conference?
To be totally honest with you,
Yeah.
when I go to any conference, my number one priority is the people. I just want to catch up with all of my choral ed homies. I want to meet all the new people. I want
Yes.
to, it's really about the bonds because the conference has so much, rich information in those sessions and all the experts are sharing their wisdom. But
Yeah.
the connections that happen at that conference are going to last from that conference to the next one, to the next one, to the next one.
Of
So
course.
for me, it's about the relationship building. And that's still, even though my role is going to be very different at this conference, I'm still, that's after the choir, it's priority number two for this one is
Yeah, of
just,
course.
you know, it energizes me to like reconnect with everyone who I haven't seen, since the last conference and to just pull ideas. We're all in the space that the conference puts us in, like that mental space of the
Mhm.
creativity and sharing and, dumping our ideas. And so many like new things can be born just from the conversations that you're having with people. But I guess my third thing that I'm really excited about would
Oh,
be
third.
concerts. The concerts. I just want to see these performances and
Yes.
yeah, they're just it's the level that's being showcased is so exciting. So definitely, Voces 8 and watching the students watch them and that whole experience is high on my list as well.
Same. It is very exciting. Well, Liana Salinas, thank you so much for spending time with me and contributing to our conference conversations so our membership can get to know you a little bit before we are all together next week. And really, from the bottom of our hearts, in the Eastern region, from our executive board, we are just so grateful to you. Thank you for bringing your artistry and your generosity to our region and to our students. And we cannot wait. It's going to be the best. So thank you, and we will see you there. Okay.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. Thank you. See you soon.